Are you sure that calm you feel is awakening, or your ego in a white robe? Most people think more light means more truth, but the ego's smartest move is to wear purity as a costume. Here's what actually happens when spirituality becomes a performance. You get softer words, tighter control, and hidden avoidance. Today, I'll show you 5 signs of spiritual ego, how to spot each one in real time, and what to say instead. Stay to the end for the N3C Protocol that turns bypassing into integration. And if you've ever posted a meditation, quoted a teacher, or said, "I'm protecting my peace," you'll want to stay for sign 3. Let's start by naming what spiritual ego actually is, so you can catch it mid-sentence. Spiritual ego isn't a villain you have to eradicate. It's your identity trying to survive change by dressing in sacred language. The human ego organizes experience, sets boundaries, and helps you function. That part's healthy. Spiritual ego is different. It fuses your worth to your awakening, your practices, and your community status. It performs light to avoid feeling what's dark, and it uses insight as social currency. Here's the core mechanism. Awakening cracks your old story, which exposes shame, grief, and powerlessness. That's tender. Pause here. Put your hand on your chest. Notice, is there tightness? A slight defensiveness rising as you read this? That reaction, that's the spiritual ego sensing a threat. It's already preparing its defense. This doesn't apply to me. I've done the work. To avoid those tender feelings, the ego co-opts the nearest tools, meditation, non-duality quotes, trauma jargon, and builds a light identity. You still feel special, but now it's sanctified. You haven't integrated shadow, you've hidden it under incense. This is why spiritual bypass feels effective short-term. It reduces anxiety. If anger is labeled low vibe, you can avoid conflict by calling it not aligned. If fear is reframed as a story, you can skip grieving and go straight to certainty. The relief is real, but costly. Intimacy shrinks, humility thins, and curiosity dies. You become unteachable because you're busy maintaining a posture of purity. Let's anchor the safety lines. Spirituality is never a pass for harm. Humility, consent, and repair are non-negotiable. If someone uses truth to belittle you, that's not medicine, that's control. Integration is the North Star. Include what hurts, don't exile it. Healthy practice reveals the human mess and gives you tools to meet it, not to erase it. So how do you know when the robe is a costume? There's a simple litmus test. If your spirituality widens your capacity to feel, relate, and repair, it's integration. If it narrows you into certainty, superiority, and avoidance, it's performance. Most people don't notice the shift because the language sounds kind, the tone is calm, and the social feedback is positive. That's the trap. Now let's name the 5 telltale signs so you can catch them in the moment, right at the mouth, right in the body. We'll start with the most common and the most praised, weaponized light. Here's what weaponized light sounds like. That's low vibe. You're not aligned. They're unconscious. The words feel clean, but the function is control. Diagnosis replaces dialogue. Instead of naming a need or negotiating a boundary, the ego uses sacred labels to shame, rank, or dismiss. It's judgment in white robes. Most people don't notice this shift because the delivery is smooth. The jaw is slightly tight, the exhale is smug. The voice is even. There's an aura of serenity that says, I'm just stating truth. But watch the somatics. A frozen smile, lifted chin, a subtle leaning back. The calm is performative. Underneath is fear, of conflict, of being wrong, of being seen as messy. Micro-story. Someone cancels last minute. You feel disappointed and a bit angry. Weaponized light says, this isn't aligned, I'm protecting my peace. Then it ghosts or punishes, calling it a boundary. A clean boundary would sound like, I was counting on this and I'm disappointed. I need 24-hour notice going forward. If that's not possible, let's reduce commitments. See the difference? One guards superiority, the other serves the connection. Why does the ego reach for labels? Because labels simplify complexity and preserve status. If I call you unconscious, I don't have to feel my vulnerability or risk a request. If I call myself elevated, I don't have to admit I'm scared. Weaponized light keeps me safe from the humility of relationship, where truth meets negotiation. Self-check to disarm the pattern. Am I labeling to avoid listening or negotiating? If yes, shift to needs-based language. Replace verdicts with impact and requests. Try this script. When X happened, the story I told myself was Y. The impact on me is Z. My request is. For example, when you cut me off, I told myself I don't matter. I feel tight and angry. I want to finish my thought before you respond. Can we try that? Curiosity is the antidote's second pillar. Ask, what did you hear me say? And, what matters most to you here? These questions de-escalate status and invite shared reality. If you feel the urge to correct, breathe and mirror first. What I hear is. Then add your truth. Remember the safety line. Boundaries are for protecting the connection, not punishing the person. If your no degrades, withholds, or disappears, it's not a boundary. It's a covert attack with sacred words. Choose repair over righteousness, humility over hierarchy, presence over performance. That's light without the weapon. Good vibes only sounds kind, but it often means feelings aren't welcome unless they sparkle. The rule is simple: glow or go. Anger is low vibe. Grief is attachment. Jealousy is ego. The result isn't enlightenment, it's numbness with crystals. You look calm, but your body is armored. The cost is intimacy and aliveness. Here's how it operates. After an awakening, sensitivity spikes. Old pain, shame, and fear rise. That's uncomfortable. The ego solves it by narrowing the emotional bandwidth to positive. You curate gratitude, speak softly, and quote acceptance while your jaw clenches. You call it regulation, but it's suppression. You don't feel less, you just feel less allowed. Somatic tells are specific. Breath stays high in the chest. Eyes gloss or float upward. There's a faint dissociation, a floating head with a quiet mouth. You nod while your stomach tightens. Your "it's all good" lands like styrofoam. The calm isn't grounded, it's avoidance dressed as virtue. Micro-story. A friend shares a boundary you don't like. Glow bypass says, I'm so grateful for this reflection, then changes the subject and withdraws later. That's not gratitude, that's evasion. Integration sounds like, I'm grateful you named that, and I feel anger and fear right now. I need a day to feel this, and then I want to talk about a plan. Anger isn't the problem. Unspoken anger is. Why bypass negative emotions? Because they threaten the light identity. If your goodness is tied to calm, then conflict equals failure. If your belonging is tied to being inspirational, then neediness equals exile. So you swallow the heat and sell serenity. Short term, you look composed. Long term, you dry out. Curiosity, play, and depth shrink. Self-check. What feeling am I avoiding right now? If you can't answer within 10 seconds, you're likely bypassing. Give it a container. 2-minute allowance. Name, feel, allow. I feel anger. It's heat in my chest. Breathe down the spine. Sound a quiet exhale. Set a timer. When it dings, choose. Express cleanly or make a boundary. Clean anger protects life. Messy anger attacks people. Language shift helps. Swap. I shouldn't feel this, for a part of me feels this. That ends the war and opens choice. Add a practical move, time-bound expression. I'm going to shake for 60 seconds, then I'll text you a clear request. This is how the glow becomes grounded light. And remember the safety line. Spirituality that bans grief, rage, and jealousy is not spiritual maturity. It's emotional malnutrition. Real practice expands capacity, not optics. Aliveness is the metric. Notice what just happened. Sign 1 was about judging others. Sign 2 was about numbing yourself. Both are uncomfortable to admit. So the ego makes one more move. It climbs. If you can't feel and you won't relate, at least you can be above. This is where the spiritual ego gets coldest. It sounds like, from a higher perspective, or at my level of awareness. The tone is cool, the chin lifts, and the body leans back. It's not clarity, it's distance. Superiority is a nervous system strategy, space without vulnerability. Here's the pattern. The ego trades tenderness for ranking. It measures the immeasurable, paths, methods, timelines. It forms micro-tribes with insider lingo. Belonging becomes a badge, not a bond. The hoped-for safety is status. The actual outcome is isolation disguised as peace. Somatic tells again. The voice goes precise and slightly hollow. The gaze scans past faces. There's very little head nodding, minimal micro-acknowledgement. You narrate reality rather than participate in it. It's a podium in the mind. Micro-story. A partner shares hurt. Altitude answers. You're identified with the story of abandonment. If you witnessed awareness, this wouldn't arise. That's not medicine. That's supremacy. Integration sounds like, I hear you felt alone when I left. A part of me defended with distance. I'm here now. What would help repair? One opens contact. The other preserves a throne. Why does altitude seduce? Because it promises invulnerability. If you're above, you can't be pierced. If you're ahead, you don't have to say, I don't know, but connection thrives on horizontal presence. Eye level, shared ground, mutual impact. Superiority turns wonder into a weapon. Imagine saying your spiritual insight at a family dinner with your most skeptical relative. Not to convince them, just stating it as you would to your spiritual community. You feel exposed, silly, defensive. That gap between how it sounds in the yoga studio versus at the kitchen table reveals the status cushion you're resting on. Real knowing translates across contexts. Performance needs its stage. Second check. After you speak, does the other person lean in or pull back? Track the body, not the words. If they stiffen, go quiet, or suddenly agree too fast, your altitude just pushed them down. Closeness is the compass. Antidote is humility reps. 3 moves. 1. Ask before telling. What matters most to you right now? 2. Reflect before advising. What I hear is you felt dismissed when I joked. Then ask, did I get that? 3. Admit limits. I don't know, and I'm willing to learn. These collapse the podium and rejoin the room. Community hygiene helps too. Ban ranking games. Replace advanced beginner with new to this, experienced with this context. Let people define their own experience. If someone shares grief, resist translating it into concept. Meet the human before you touch the frame. Language shift again. Trade altitude phrases for grounded ones. Instead of from a higher perspective, try from my view, and I might be missing something. Instead of you're unconscious, try I'm impacted by what happened and I want to check my story with you. Precision without pedestal. And the safety line. If your spirituality makes you harder to reach, you're not elevated. You're armored. The point isn't to hover. It's to be here, fully, with a soft belly and a clear spine. Humility isn't self-erasure. It's contact. When you practice it, hierarchy dissolves, listening returns, and the room gets smarter together. Spiritualized love without edges sounds generous. My heart is open to all, but without edges, love leaks. Boundary confusion has 2 faces. The first is spiritualized self-abandonment, saying yes to stay loving, translating discomfort as a lesson to endure, calling exhaustion devotion. The second is punitive distance disguised as protecting peace, cut-offs, ghosting, and silence framed as high standards. Both avoid honest contact. Somatic tells are reliable. The self-abandoning yes comes with a tight stomach, a held breath, and a smile that doesn't reach the eyes. The punitive no comes with a cool jaw, averted gaze, and a sense of moral altitude. In both cases, the body is announcing, I don't feel safe enough to tell the truth. Micro-story. A friend asks for help moving, again with no notice. Self-abandonment says yes, then resents them and vents later about energetic drains. Punitive distance says, your frequency is chaotic. I need to protect my field, and disappears. A clean boundary sounds different. I care about you, and I can't help today on short notice. With 48 hours heads up, I'm a yes once a month. That protects your nervous system and the relationship. Why does ego confuse boundaries with punishment or self-erasure? Because boundaries require 2 vulnerable moves, admitting limits and risking disappointment. The light identity hates both. It wants to be endlessly available or untouchably sovereign. Boundaries are neither martyrdom nor walls, they're bridges with weight limits. Think of the last boundary you set. Now replay it while tracking your body. Stomach, tight and rising, self-abandoning yes, or cool and detached, punitive distance. Jaw, clenched with a forced smile, or loose with clear words. Eyes, avoiding contact, or steady and warm. Tone, apologetic or cold. Clean boundary feels grounded and vulnerable at once. There's clarity without cruelty. You feel exposed but aligned. If your body went hard or collapsed, you left the boundary zone and entered war or surrender. One more check. Can I offer a return time? Not now, but yes at 7 p.m. tomorrow. Keeps the bridge open. I need space. With no timeline is often a disguised door slam. Language shifts help. Replace vague spiritual abstractions with specifics. I'm a no to last-minute commitments, and I'm a yes to planning next week. Replace moralizing with impact. When plans change late, I feel scrambled and I lose sleep. I need 24 hours notice. Boundaries are clearest when they're concrete. Practice the boundary breath. 3 steps. 1. Hand to sternum, slow exhale. 2. Name the limit in 1 sentence. 3. Offer a next step or return time. Repeat until your body believes you. Your yes will brighten. Your no will soften. That's love with edges, strong, warm, and trustworthy. When presence gets replaced by performance, the robe gets brightest. The performance trap is identity hunger dressed as holiness. Posting every practice, collecting certificates, chasing modalities, curating optics of serenity. Progress becomes a brand. You're living for the gaze, outer or inner, rather than for contact with life. Somatic tells are subtle but consistent. A spike of agitation when unseen. A crash after praise fades. Restlessness during simple private practice. You're doing meditation while tracking whether it looks like meditation. The nervous system is hunting validation, not rest. Micro story. There's a hard conversation you owe your partner. Instead, you meditate twice, journal 3 pages, pull cards, and post a quote about integrity. You feel temporarily clean, without risking the repair that integrity requires. That's spiritual procrastination. Integration sounds like, I'm scared and I'm going to talk to you at 6. After we speak, I'll sit for 10 minutes to settle my body. Practice supports truth. It doesn't replace it. Why does the ego love performance? Because optics feels safer than outcomes. Certificates, hours logged, and public devotion give measurable proof. Real transformation is quieter, fewer apologies needed because you repair faster, fewer promises because you follow through, fewer reactivity spikes because you catch the first impulse. The ego can fake optics. It can't fake your partner's felt sense of safety. Self-check. If no one knew, would I still do this? Ask it before you sign up, post, or share. Another check. Is this action moving a real relationship or just my image? If a conversation is waiting while a ritual grows, you've left presence for performance. Antidotes are simple and confronting. Private practice first. Commit to 1 practice you never post about. Let it be boring and consistent. Results over optics. Track outcomes that matter. Repair speed, honest no's, follow-through rate, moments you admitted you were wrong. Honest service. Give in ways that don't boost your brand. Quiet help, tangible contribution, anonymous generosity. Language shift again. Replace I need to be seen with a part of me longs to be valued. I'll ask 1 person for feedback. Replace I'm not ready to act. I need another retreat with I have enough to take the next step. I'll learn by doing. Action teaches faster than performance. And here's the quiet test. After practice, do you feel more available for ordinary life, dishes, listening, laughter, or more precious and untouchable. Real practice makes you simpler, not special. When the robe loosens, presence returns. That's how purity stops proving and starts living. You've seen the 5 signs. Now here's the daily practice that turns diagnosis into transformation. This is N3C, a 4-step protocol you can run in 60 seconds when you catch spiritual ego mid-sentence. Notice the cue, what just happened in your body or speech. The urge to correct someone with, actually, from a non-dual perspective. The faint smugness after saying, I'm protecting my peace. The tightness before you post your practice. Catch the impulse before it becomes action. The cue is usually physical. Lifted chin, held breath, a cooling in the chest. Name the part, say internally or aloud, a part of me wants to prove I'm awake. Or, a part of me is avoiding this feeling by going spiritual. This language is crucial. A part of me stops identity fusion. You're not the spiritual ego, you're the awareness noticing it. Heat drops, choice opens. Normalize the history. Remind yourself, this part developed to protect me. It helped me belong, feel safe, or avoid old pain. No shaming the protector. It's not a villain, it's outdated armor. Compassion here prevents the spiritual ego from just shape-shifting into the part that's transcended spiritual ego. Meta trap avoided. Choose one clean move. Pick the smallest grounded action. If you judged, sign 1. Ask a curious question instead of correcting. What matters to you here? If you bypassed, sign 2. Name the unwelcome feeling in 1 sentence. I'm angry right now, and I'm going to let that be here. If you climbed, sign 3. Admit 1 limit. I don't actually know. Tell me more. If you blurred boundaries, sign 4. Offer a specific no with a return time. Not tonight, but I'm free Thursday at 6. If you performed, sign 5. Do your practice privately. No post, no mention, just the thing itself. Before step 4, pause. Hand to heart. Exhale longer than the inhale. 6 counts out. Feel your feet. This signals safety to your nervous system. Without this anchor, N3C stays cognitive and the ego just learns to perform integration. Run N3C on 1 trigger. Journal what you noticed at each step. What part showed up? What clean move did you choose? What shifted? In your body, in the interaction, in how you felt afterward. Share your experience in the comments. We learn faster together. Remember the question from the beginning. Are you sure that calm you feel is awakening, or your ego in a white robe? Here's what I've learned. The robe doesn't come off in one dramatic moment. It loosens gradually, every time you choose presence over performance. Every time you name the part instead of becoming it. Every time you let anger stay in the room instead of labeling it low vibe. 5 signs we covered: weaponized light, glow-only bypassing, altitude superiority, boundary confusion, performance trap. They're not enemies to eradicate. They're invitations to get honest. And N3C is how you answer that invitation in real time. Your one action this week: run N3C on a single trigger. Notice the cue, name the part, normalize its history, choose one clean move. Journal what happened. Then come back and share in the comments what part showed up for you. We're building this together. If this landed, subscribe because next week we're going deeper into the shadow side of holding space, when empathy becomes a way to avoid your own life. And if you want to see N3C in action with real examples, watch the companion video where we dissolve patterns live. The point isn't to be pure, it's to be whole. That's the path.